Are you ready to join me as I share my personal journey with my temper and how it transformed my life? I hope you are. Quotes, affirmations, and storytelling are great methods for helping people to shift their mindset. And in today's inspirational story time, we're going to focus on feeling your anger and finding your happiness. So let's get into today's quote. Don't be afraid to feel as angry or as loving as you can, because when you feel nothing, it's just death. Here's three things I want you to remember. Number one, feelings are signs of life. Number two, feel free to feel exactly how you feel. That's the only way you can evaluate it. And number three, there is a value and a lesson in how you feel. Anger can be a catalyst for personal growth and resilience. And I want to share with you one of my stories as an example. My name is Maya D, and I'm a storyteller by trade. I do it through dance, and more recently, I've been doing it in writing. I share stories through dance and in writing. And about 4 years ago, I began collecting quotes from different wise women in the community and celebrities and so forth, and using them as guidance to help me get through my day. And I'm not quite sure why, but I began to pair those quotes with affirmations. And I noticed this wonderful thing while journaling, because I'm an avid journaler. I've been journaling for a long time, but that's another story. I noticed that there was a connection between the affirmations and my writing. The affirmations began to remind me what I feel like happened was the affirmations began to remind me of experiences in my life where I demonstrated that very thing that the affirmation was speaking to. So I began sharing these stories in the form of a blog, right? Kind of taking some of the names and things out because it was my journal, but sharing these stories because I believe that sharing and storytelling are ways to uplift and, yeah, to uplift people. So I share them as a blog. And right now, I want to share one of those stories with you because I also understand that while some of us love to read a good story, some of us also like to listen to a good story. So go ahead, pause if you need to. But let's get cozy, or you get cozy if that's what makes you smile, or feel free to let the video play in the background while you complete some other activity. I definitely encourage you to ask questions because I am a deep believer in sharing is caring. And as I'm sharing my story, my experiences, it might generate something in you. And I encourage you to share that thing because maybe we can get an exchange going on that results in both of us and anyone reading the comments to be a better person. So here we go. I like to call this intrigue fire. Number one, feelings are a sign of life. My skin was on fire. It felt like my spine was an ignition coil, radiating heat to my entire torso. If I were a cartoon, the steam from my head would have been visible to everyone standing around. The word angry was not strong enough to capture my feelings in that moment. I was literally seeing red. It was a red, bloody hallway. And that bloody hallway was staying the memories of all those around if I gave in to my anger in that moment. My fire was only cooled by the tears that fell from my eyes. I'd cry because it was the only way that I could let go of my anger in that moment. These angry tears carried my love for my children, my students, that is. I knew that if I gave into this moment of anger, those students would suffer, and all the work that they did that far that year would have been for nothing. Earlier in the school year, I was asked to be a little less intense because it made another coworker feel uncomfortable. Hmm. I acquiesced and turned down my intense expressions because I loved my students and I feared what would happen if some other teacher stepped into the classroom. I feared who would take care of my students if I wasn't there. Oh gosh, real life situation. Gotta pause this. Back. So sorry, I forgot to silence that. I knew that if I were to give in to my anger in that moment, it would put my students in a situation where they would have another teacher there. And I was not okay with that. I would later find out that it was a combination of my intense passion, my intelligence, and my transparent communication with administration that actually made that coworker feel uncomfortable. Number two, feel free to feel exactly how you feel. Ironically, I was asked at work to be less intense so that coworker would feel better. And here was that same coworker was being intense to me in front of other people. I was confused. This experience holds many lessons, ones of self-sacrifice, ones of wasting talents, one of ego, one of voice, value, and more. In short, this person believed this person believed that it was completely acceptable for them to loudly scold me in a public hallway in front of students and other faculty member. But it was not okay for me to passionately express my thoughts and feelings in a departmental meeting. Hmm. This felt a little political with respect to bodies taking up space and how bodies are allowed to act in said space. I will add the words, I will add that the words I shared in a meeting were not even about that coworker. They were speaking my truth to a situation. And that when I brought that same situation to administration, it was well received with the exact same words and resolved. Hmm. Number three, there is value and a lesson in how you feel. It was around this time that I accepted that I was intense because I'm a passionate person, and that's okay. In my experience, the term intense held a negative connotation because it's used to replace the term angry. But what I began to understand and accept was intense just means intense. I better understood intense as an adverb that can be applied to a whole spectrum of emotions. I can be intensely happy. I can be an intense lover. I can be intensely compassionate. Master Sri Akashana says emotion is just energy and motion. And I got a lot of energy. I began to replace the term intense with the term passionate. I am a passionate person. When I really like something, you're going to know it. When I really don't like something, you're going to know it. That's balance. When I was able to reflect on my feelings, I could see how unhappy I actually was in that environment because I was living this less than intense and passionate persona at work. The fear of being classified as the angry Black woman didn't allow me to feel the full spectrum of my feelings. Reflecting, I think that might be a better angle. Reflecting on my emotional state allowed me to see the death from boredom was only around the corner. I was going to bore myself to death with this, like, very plain person I was trying to be. This was an unhealthy decision, and I was clear that I needed to move on. It is neither healthy nor is it safe for us to consistently place ourselves in spaces where we need to hide part of ourselves. There's a difference between privacy and hiding. I think that's important. There's a difference between what you hold private and what you hide. Remember that. I loved my students, but I needed to love myself, or the death of my career was inevitable. Feeling my anger encouraged me to map out a plan for my happiness. My plan guided me to a career that I love and where I felt free to be myself. I can honestly say that I felt like I was living again and I was enjoying my days. I was having good days because I was allowed to feel my feelings. I wasn't afraid to feel my feelings. Master Sri Akashana says emotion is just energy in motion. So where the energy is flowing, there is life. If your life is not the way you want it to be, evaluate where you are emotionally and how you might bring balance to your spectrum of emotions. Notice the use of the term spectrum. Our lives are filled with a variety of experiences and emotions. The variety helps us to be happy during the good times and gives us faith during the hard times. I can now say that I love the idea of being a passionate, intense person. I like it. I love it. I can be intensely happy, an intense lover, and intensely compassionate. In the words of the very wise Diane Carroll, don't be afraid to feel as angry or as loving as you can, because when you feel nothing, there is just death. Feelings are a sign of life. Remember that. Remember that you are free to feel exactly how you feel. And remember, there's a value and a lesson in how you feel. Sharing is caring. So, from feeling this story of sharing my feelings and dealing with my temper, my anger, I learned a lot about myself, right? I learned that I needed to make some decisions about how I was showing up in my career and if I was even in the right role, right? Did I where I needed to shift and how I needed to change, only because I was allowed to feel my feelings. I definitely encourage you to feel your feelings. Now, I'm not saying be disrespectful to people. I'm saying feel it in a way that you are able to reflect on it. Is this something that you want to experience again? Or is this something that you want to move away from? And make a healthy decision based on that information. This was day 9, right? This is day 9 of 30. So I'm coming on 30 days, 30 consecutive days around this time in the afternoon to share my stories. Hopefully you're finding them inspirational, motivational, or just maybe a nice little like break away from the other aspects of your life. Hopefully a good healthy break from the other aspects of your life. So this is day 9. We'll love to hear your journeys with your spectrum of emotions. What have you learned from your anger? How have you used it? When do you pull upon it? When do you put it to rest? And how did you come to know those things? Let me know in the comments below, because sharing is caring. And the idea is that maybe I spark something in you, your comment might spark something in me and or someone else, and we all grow to be better people. I affirmation stories, quotes every day for 30 days. I also have some affirmations down there in the details. It's a free PDF. Please check that out. Remember to subscribe and turn on your alerts so that you are here for tomorrow's video. And take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.